Hi everyone, Paul ISM. A review today of the AK Interactive True Metal paints. Now I've seen these here, there, and about everywhere. There's a few videos up online on how to use them. I wanted them for a while, did have an ordering, got let down. I'm quite glad I did because I received half of the range in my Secret Santa off ISM, well the Hangout, so it was great, saved me buying them. There's a full range of colours. I believe they're wax based. Brush on, use your finger, put them on a prime surface, let them dry, buff it off, and you've got a high shine. So it's an alternative to Alclad or the Mist Hobby Buffable. I've tried these before. There's something I tried the day I got them. That's done in the, I think it was aluminium colour and the dark iron colour this side. And as you can see, it's a nice finish. It has the texture of metal on a smooth piece of plastic. It came out really well, and as you can see, it really is a high shine. It's a different sheen to Alclad. So I think using these along with Mr. Buffable, you've got 3 different options and alternatives there on what you're able to do. The one's not going to replace the other and vice versa because they give different effects. I mean, I doubt very much you get the effect of that off these because this is darker Mr. Hobby Buffable to begin with, so you're left with darker patches where you can't polish, whereas this, I don't think that's going to work the same. I may be wrong. I've only tried these quickly, very quick experiment, see how they work, and as you can see, it's a very good shine. So what we're going to do today, it's a quick overview, quick review. We'll come back at a later date, we'll explore them a little bit more. We're just going to brush paint them on today. I believe you can airbrush them once you thin them with a bit of white spirit. Again, something I look forward to experimenting with. We shall see, and we'll go from there and see how it goes. So, range of colours. I'm actually missing one. Like I say, I got half of them as a present. I ordered the other 5. I'm missing the old bronze, I think it is, which is on its way to me. I got missed out the order. But the colours, you've got gunmetal, silver, brass, steel, dark aluminium, gold, aluminium, copper, and iron. So, good range of colours, covering most basic colours needed. They may bring out new colours in the future, I don't know. It's not quite as extensive as the Alclad range, which do any colour under the sun you can imagine, but there's certainly a good range of colours there to get you going. So the colour we use today, I think we'll go with the aluminium. I think that one I used over there, I can't remember if it was the silver. It might have been the silver, I can't remember now off the top of my head. One thing I've noticed, and a few other people have noticed as well, I'm just going to grab a little bit of tissue, is that when you open the tube, it all tends to squeeze out, so just be prepared to catch it. I'm going to put that there, and we will have a brush, which I've got there. Now it says online you can use your finger or a cloth. I use a brush. I know Carlos Mendez has done a quite extensive video on these, testing them, etc. I haven't watched it yet. I always like to review stuff blind, basically to get my own view. After I've done this, I will go and watch it and see what Carlos found out. With Carlos, I know people have said he was raving about them, and a lot of people have said the video is very good, so we shall see how we get on. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to mask this up, because at a later date we'll come back and I might airbrush this. So if we mask it up, we've got a comparison between brushed on and airbrushed, so we'll do that for now. Now what we'll do is we'll open this. This is the aluminium, which is AK 455, as you can see, in your standard oil paint packaging, so it does fit any standard you've got. Like I say, when I opened mine the other day, it did tend to just squeeze out everywhere. That one's not just yet, so what we'll do, brand new brush, probably better with a flat brush. I haven't got a spare flat brush because all my brushes are used for various weathering techniques. Take a small amount of it, pop it on. Now if you've got a big blob of it on your brush, try and avoid panel lines because there are panel lines on there. Try and avoid them to begin with until you get it spread out a bit. As you can see, it does brush paint very easily, and a little bit does go a long way. It's got a very, very nice smell to it. It really does smell good. I know the smell, I can't quite put my finger on it. I'm not sure what it is. But like I say, you don't need a lot. You've seen the size of that blob that was on that brush. There wasn't a huge amount at all. So I think the idea is to get it down, make sure it's evenly coated everywhere you need it. there we go. So that's that. So as you can see, you've already got a good shine to it just from brushing it on. It cleans up. I believe you can thin it with white spirit. I've found that our UMP cleaner cleans it up perfectly well as well. It cleans the brush spotless. Now, one other thing I want to try is I've heard it needs half an hour to dry, but I've also just looked on the AK website and it's not too clear. It's almost looking as if it's saying buff it straight away. So what I'll do is we're going to a little tiny bit more, and I mean a tiny bit, there's a tiny little bit, and we'll come this end, and again we'll put a little masking tape just so we don't interfere where I want to airbrush it at a later date. Make sure it's primed. This was primed with Badger Primer, which is my new juicer primer. I will review that very soon. Left to dry, it's been about an hour in a warm workshop. And again, I know somebody was saying Carlos mentioned about priming with black, which is usually the case with high shine finishes, but we'll see. Like I said, it's just a quick review overview. I will test it separately myself at a later date. So there we go, that's on. Now it did say, it didn't mention anything about leaving it to dry, so I'm going to have a go at buffing it up. Should I use my finger? Yes, why not? It's probably all going to come off. I'll be very surprised if it buffs it up. What we can do then, we can compare it to being buffed straight away to being left to dry. Now it has got a sheen. It's not a high gloss sheen. I believe the steel is one of the high gloss ones. But it's a nice effect. It's a beautiful aluminium effect actually. I'm going to put that there because I want CSI Miami fingerprints everywhere. What we will do is we'll grab another bit of tissue, because what I found the other day on that engine I tested it out on was that buffing it with different materials, because I first used a tammy polishing cloth, I brought it up quite well. When I used a rougher bit of kitchen paper, it made it shine better. So it did seem to bring it up a bit better. And obviously you don't want to rub too hard because you're not taking the, you're not trying to take it off. Yeah, I think the finger might be the way to go, to be honest. As you can see, you do get a good shine. Looking at it with the naked eye, it's not as good as that engine looks. I'm going to put a little bit more on, see what a second coat does. Again, this is the second time I've used this, so I have no idea what it's going to do. And obviously we're going to let that bit dry for at least half an hour before we come back. We'll try this bit again. Excess off. As you can see though, it does get in the panel line, so if you're doing an aircraft you're going to have to probably scrub your panel lines to get that out. But doing it that way, that is a really nice aluminium effect. If you're doing a Mustang or any natural metal finish aircraft, that is a very nice aluminium effect because it gives the sheen of aluminium without the high gloss that you don't really want sometimes on it. Now, like Alclad's, any flaw shows through, and there is on this front panel just to the left of that paintbrush. There's a mark on the plastic where it's probably been scratched or whatever, and it does show through. So again, if you're doing a fuselage, make sure it is perfect, or as perfect as you can get it, because you can see the flaws themselves. And I've rubbed that. You rub it again, you do get more off. So this is going to leave fingerprints everywhere, just like Mr. Hobby Buffable does. That is a really nice effect. As you see, it's not high shine, but it's got a good shine to it. But you just see the difference between them both. We'll let this side dry. It is 10 to 4, so I'll give this till 4:30. We'll come back and we'll give it a buff up once it's started to dry. Okay, so it's been about half an hour now. We've let this dry, and we'll see what it buffs off like compared to the piece that we buff instantly. Thinking about it while I've been waiting for this to dry, I think the next step would be leaving it overnight and see if the longer drying time does help at all. If it doesn't, it's not worth doing, and you can just buff them off instantly, and we can go from there. Like I said, I'll come back to this at a later date. We'll revisit it and we'll give it a bit more of a thorough testing and see how they get on. So like I say, half an hour since we did this, I'm going to take the masking tape off. See how we get on, and we'll take that bit off as well to give me a bigger area to grab a hold of. As you can see, I pulled a bit of the primer off, unfortunately. That's sod's law, because I haven't let it dry long enough, basically. So, what we'll do now is we'll give this a buff. Should we do it with the finger or should we do it with the cloth? We'll do it with the finger first. It's definitely dried more than the other side, because the other side was a lot more moist, should I say. Pardon the phrase, when I got my hands on it. It's definitely not coming off as much. So it definitely dries if it's left. So that's with the finger. We've got a little bit of a sheen. So let's try it with a cloth, tissue. See what it gets. Now I don't know just how much you can rub before it actually comes off. I suppose we could try it. There's a much better finish than we got the other side. Oh yes, that's a much better finish, and what it's done is also give that texture effect, which is what impresses me the most about this. I don't know if I can get it without the sheen. I don't know if you can see that texture. It just looks like real metal. It really is amazing. Let's try to go the other way. Now you can really buff it well. It really does. It is hard wearing. So obviously I buffed this bit straight away with my finger. I didn't really give it a go over the tissue. So we'll do it now. We'll see there's a difference between doing it straight away or leaving it, and there is. There's a lot more shine. Probably not going to see it on camera as much, but to the naked eye it's a bit duller. This side's a lot duller. So you can use that to your advantage. There's two ways of doing this. If you're doing like a full aircraft, you could polish certain panels instantly, straight away. Leave the rest of it overnight, come back the next day, polish it, and what I'll do, I'll give you tonal variation between them two. So it's quite a handy effect to have, to be honest. It really is quite usable like that. Now, it's also the case of buffing it with your finger, and a cloth I think gives a different effect. I mean, that is a nice sheen. It really does look well. It's absolutely amazing stuff, and this was the aluminium colour. And it just does look like aluminium, even the surface texture. It just does look like aluminium. It really is good. Highly impressed by it. That sheen is absolutely amazing, really is good. It's a different sheen to Alclad, and it's a different sheen to the Mustafi Buffable. So I think you've got three different types of paint there with different usable sides to them. Absolutely amazing, really good. Now, how hard wearing it is, I do not know. We'll try it this side. I'm going to absolutely press like hell on that. This is the side that didn't shine as well. It's actually burning my finger. Definitely started to take it off. You can see the sheen is starting to go down to the primer. So if you rub it ridiculously hard, which my finger was burning then, it does come off. So it's a case of don't go in too far through it to the point of no return. But that side there is stunning. That's with the aluminium. There's a multitude of colours there. I'm going to be interested to see how they all paint. But that is outstanding. That is really, really good. That's a phenomenal finish. Now, these are going to need to be sealed, because I'm going to guess if I just run my finger across it, yep, you get a bit of silver on your fingers, and if you're touching the rest of your model, you're going to get like a CSI effect where someone's been taking fingerprints. So, definitely worthwhile seeing what will seal it. Now, what will seal it, I do not know. Because it's waxy, I'm dubious if it's taking a seal, but again, it's something I have to check and see how it does it. It's going to need sealing in without a shadow of a doubt. So it's going to need Johnson's Clear or a clear coat of some sort to seal it in. But that effect is absolutely... I mean, I've got studio lights up, so it is really bright in here. But you can see that effect. Absolutely brilliant. Even the part where I've almost rubbed it completely off, it's still there, and it's great. So there you go. That's a highly recommended product by me. It's not going to replace Alclad, and it's not going to replace Mr. Hobby Buffable, so I wouldn't even bother comparing them together because they are different effects. Alclad doesn't go like that. It doesn't have that grainy metal look to the surface. That does. It's a very, very smooth effect. That is just truly outstanding. I'm well impressed by that. So there's a place for all three in there, and what we'll do, I think at a later date, I've been saying it for a while, we'll come back with an Alclad video showing Alclad being used, Mr. Hobby Buffables, and these, and the applications they can be used and how to use them. We'll come back at a later date and do that. But for me, these get a huge thumbs up, and I'm glad I bought the whole range of them. I hope Mr. Hobby. I hope AK Interactive bring out more of the colours, more of the range to add to it, just to get different tones. But I'll certainly be interested to see how I can use them together to get different tonal variances. And there's a multitude of ways it can be done, but I'm well impressed by that. That's absolutely superb. So there you go, well worth checking out. Go and have a look and try them for yourself. So thanks for watching, catch you guys later, and I'll see you on the forums.